second. Duplicate. Everybody ready?
When we sit down here, we're ready.
Well, let me make that screen bigger
That's all right.
so I can see what's going on.
Or maybe I need to move on too.
No, you're good. Oh, what did I just do?
Whoa.
Come and knock on my door. You know what that's from? I forgot what it's from.
Knock on my door.
Come and knock on my door. I don't know what that's from. All right. Good morning,
Good morning.
ladies and gentlemen, here and at home. Again, my name is Diallo. And this morning we're going to be doing current events. Today is the first day of July,
Oh,
2020. How about that? 2020.
where'd it go?
I know, huh? Now, in 3 days, what day is it in 3 days? Today, July 1st.
4th
What's that?
of July.
Yeah, what's that? What's July 4th?
Independence Day.
Darn Skippy. Independence Day. That would be Saturday. That means barbecues, fireworks, pizza, chicken, ribs,
Music.
lots of corn on the cob, lots of watermelon, all the fixings, right?
Where do you And get all
You
that? that?
get all that at a barbecue.
And music.
And music. What's your favorite kind of music?
Whatever they like to put in here. My favorite kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Some jazz,
Whatever they like to
some
do.
blues.
Depends on my mood.
That's it. All right, so again, we're doing current events today. Today is Wednesday, July 1st, 2020. So I've got the newspaper here. We're just going to kind of go through and read through some of the stories from different sections of the newspaper. Just to let everybody know what's going on in the world of 2020.
Uh-oh.
All right. So we will start off with the East Bay Times, front page. And we are going to start with, will schools reopen in the fall?
They got to.
I know, but because of the COVID-19, people are like, we don't know if schools are going to reopen.
It depends.
So in a key signal to Bay Area school districts, Santa Clara County officials said Tuesday that schools must follow stringent social distancing and mask requirements if they reopen for an in-person learning this fall. But whether school and health officials take that route amid rising coronavirus cases remains to be seen. While the Bay Area's most populous county wants all students and teachers to return to school as soon as possible, officials have yet to decide how much, if at all, that involves the physical classroom. Health Officer Dr. Sarah Cody said at a news conference Tuesday, whether schools can reopen for in-person instruction depends on the containment of COVID-19 in the months to come. We're monitoring a number of factors, she said. School closures first swept across the Bay Area en masse when the pandemic struck in mid-March. Just a few weeks later, the 6 counties said they followed the state's recommendation to remain shut for the remainder of the year, leaving teachers, students, and parents scrambling to adjust to online learning. Now, however, counties across California are taking a more piecemeal approach to reopening. State guidance released early this month calls for schools to offer an in-person learning to the extent that they are able, depending on local health orders, leaving specifics up to the local officials, in some cases, individual districts and schools. First, for its part, Santa Clara County has called on its districts to consider various scenarios for the year, including in-person instruction, remote learning, or a hybrid model. But with just a month left before August, officials didn't directly answer when districts or parents should expect more information about a potential first day of school. Such plans are not a guarantee that conditions will allow us to reopen in person, said Marianne Duane, the county supervisor. We cannot know yet how the changing conditions will affect the offerings of instructions this fall. So kind of a tough decision, huh? Whether to open up this fall or not, because they don't want to have kids transmit the virus to other people at home. What do you think? Should they open up the schools?
Yes.
You think they should? It's real important for kids to learn. I know, it's real important for kids to learn in person, huh? Especially young ones. They need to be around other kids, don't they? Yes. All right.
Well, they could wear masks.
They could. Yep. All right. So next one is about Sammy Hagar, the singer. So Sammy Hagar explains his concert comments. Sammy Hagar has taken to social media to try and clarify his statements to Rolling Stones magazine about the importance of restarting the economy, even if it puts lives in danger. Hear his statement. Hey, Sammy here on June 23rd. Rolling Stones ran a compilation piece for their quarantine question and answer series. I did that interview a month and a half ago. Things change very fast right now. So I want to clarify and put a few things into context now. I did that interview May 8th, when we were already several weeks into the stay-at-home orders, which my family and I took very seriously, and things were starting to look up. The curve was beginning to flatten. So when I was asked if I'd be comfortable enough to get back on stage before a vaccine was out, I was cautiously optimistic. I said, yeah, not too soon. I want to make sure it's not escalating. When it's declining and seems to be going away. Big picture, it's about getting back to work in a safe and responsible way and getting this economy rolling again. I will do my part. I stand by that. I employ 200 people directly, and when we tour, even more. Like everything today, it's a watch and see over the next few months, but we remain cautiously optimistic that with the right improvements and safety measures in place, we might be able to play shows this year. That said, as things change for the better or worse, we will appropriately adjust our plans. Rolling Stones confirmed the interview took place in May. The comments didn't generate much of a stir when we originally ran them, but they reappeared early this week in another article where we compiled statements about the quarantine by 14 different artists. They were picked up by Huffington Post, then ricocheted all across the internet as they were new according to the magazine. Hagar did say he'd rather personally get sick and even die if that's what it takes to save the economy. We have to save the world and this country from this economy, from this economic thing that's going to kill more people in the long run. I would rather see everyone back to work. If some of us have to sacrifice on that, okay. I will die for my children and my grandchildren to have a life anywhere close to the life I had in this wonderful country. Oh, so he says, open it back up, and I'm willing to sacrifice myself. Very interesting. All right. So let's take a look at today in history. So July 1st in history. July 1st in 1863, the pivotal three-day Civil War Battle of Gettysburg, resulting in a Union victory, began in Pennsylvania. So how about that? And this day in 1863 was the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. This day in 1963, the U.S. Post Office inaugurated its 5-digit zip code. Oh, I didn't know that. So before there were 5 digits there, I guess there were 4 or 3 or 2, I don't know. This day in 1966, the Medicare federal insurance program went into effect. Okay. In this day in 1991, President George Herbert Walker Bush nominated Federal Appeals Court Judge Clarence Thomas to the Supreme Court, beginning in the ultimately successful confirmation process marked by sexual allegations of harassment. How about birthdays? Today's birthdays. Actress Olivia de Havilland. She's 104.
Oh,
I know. Actress and dancer Leslie Caron is 89. Actress Jean Marsh is 86. Actor Jamie Farr is 86. Cookie maker Wally Amos is 84. I don't know who Wally Amos is, but apparently he's a famous cookie maker. Dancer choreographer Twyla Thorpe is 79. Singer actress Deborah Harry is 75. Actor comedian Dan Aykroyd is 68. I know who that is. And actor Andre Braugher is 58. Don't know. The only person I knew there was Dan Aykroyd. How about this one? News of the weird. Weird. News of the weird. This one's called Joyride. It's a true event. Donovan Russell Jester, 28, of Largo, Florida, was arrested on June 18th for grand theft of a vessel, a $900,000 46-foot-long yacht. The Tampa Bay Times reported the theft took place March 20th at Thunder Marina, where Pinellas County deputies said the 2019 Jeannot Leader was stolen and driven into 4 channel marking pilings, doing about $60,000 worth of damage before being abandoned to drift in an oyster bed. Investigators found Jester's thumbprint on a cabin door. He was held at Pinellas County Jail for $50,000 bail. So he stole $1 million yacht, crashed it into some pylons, left it there, and the only reason why they caught him is because there was a thumbprint on a cabin door. That sucks for that guy. Could have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. All right, let's see what else we got. Anybody play the lottery? I always tell myself I wish I would win the lottery, but I never play. Right?
well, hey,
I wish I could win $100 million, but I never play, so I can't win.
what would you do with 100 million?
Who knows? Who knows? All right, next one. Is going to be about fireworks. Okay? So sales of fireworks are booming, vendors say, because it's the 4th of July, you have fireworks. So with the pandemic lockdowns and social distancing putting a damper on many public celebratory traditions, Norma Alfaro didn't know what to expect when she set up her fireworks stall this week by Pacifica State Beach. But on opening day, there was already a line, almost close to what we do on the 4th, Alfaro said. The coronavirus has fizzled most public 4th of July fireworks shows this year. Gilroy has the only one scheduled, but sales of safe and sane fireworks are booming at stands in the handful of Bay Area cities that still allow them. In addition to Pacifica, the safe and sane variety of fun can be found in Dublin, Newark, Union City, San Bruno, Gilroy, and a half a dozen cities in neighboring counties. We're already selling out some of our stuff in the second or third day, said Dustin Chamberlain, who works alongside Alfaro in Pacifica. The sales are good news for local nonprofits like sports teams and community groups who sell the fireworks at licensed stands to raise money. So Joe, know that about fireworks stands? A lot of fireworks stands are actually run by local youth sports teams or organizations, like say Berkeley Little League. Okay, if they could sell fireworks, they would get a fireworks stand. They would then put up the stand and sell the fireworks, and they would get a cut of those profits to help with youth sports or organizations or nonprofits. That was pretty good right there. Let's see what else we got today in the news. Come and knock on my door. Ooh, look at job offerings. Let's see what else we got. So here we go. This is done by Miss Manners, Judith Martin. She writes stuff every day in the newspaper, and this one's called Smothered by Constant Check-ins. I live in New York, and I am lucky to have many friends concerned for me during the pandemic, particularly from my home country, which is far less affected. I say lucky, but initially I was drowning in their concern. At one stage, I received messages from people I hadn't heard from in years, and requests for video calls from morning to night, which I was unable to keep up with. At the same time, countless buddy check-in text groups sprung up, with each social group requiring a check-in. I'm still working, plus many of my friends are at home and contacting me at awkward hours. Over time, I've been able to gently convince some to back off, reminding them that I'm well, happy, still employed, have a safe home, and am an introvert who likes isolation. After spending my whole workday on video calls, this introvert really just needs some quiet time, and I don't want to blog every day. However, if some extroverted acquaintances don't see a social media post from me, they'll send multiple messages asking if I'm okay and attempt to call. I set my phone to do not disturb after 7 p.m. so that I don't hear the calls. They immediately text, "Are you okay?" So yeah, because of the pandemic, all of her friends were always texting her, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm fine, I just don't want to talk to you." I could understand that. I can definitely understand that. Definitely. All right, some news of the world. Europe restricts visitors from US amid virus resurgence. So Europe decided that Americans can't come in. Let's see what they have to say. The European continent on Tuesday decided to reopen to visitors from 14 countries, but not the US, where some of the states that pushed hardest and earliest to reopen their economies are now in retreat because of the alarming surge in confirmed coronavirus cases. The European Union's decision came a day after Arizona Governor Doug Ducey closed bars, gyms, movie theaters, and water parks, and officials in Republican and Democratic strongholds alike mandated the wearing of masks. "We have to remain vigilant and keep our most vulnerable safe," tweeted European Council President Charles Michel. The European Union extended its ban on visitors, not just from the US, but from China and from countries such as Russia, Brazil, and India, where infections are running high. Britain dropped out of the European Union in January and maintains its own rules, requiring arriving travelers to go into 14-day quarantine. President Donald Trump suspended the entry of most Europeans in March. Americans make up a big share of Europe's tourism industry, and summer is a key period. More than 15 million Americans travel to Europe each year, while some 10 million Europeans head across the Atlantic to America. The news was a blow to struggling shopkeepers hoping for a summertime boom. "Americans were 50% of my clientele," said Paolo Palazzari, who owns a mask and jewelry shop on the St. Louis Island in the heart of Paris and heads its business association. "We can't substitute that clientele with another." That kind of sucks. They banned Americans from going to Europe, and a lot of those European businesses are really struggling because they rely on American tourists to make money during the summer. That's got to be tough. That's got to be real tough. Do you know who Carl Reiner is? Yeah, he was an actor, writer on the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carl Reiner, the ingenious and versatile writer, actor, and director who broke through as a second banana to Sid Caesar and rose to comedy front ranks as creator of the Dick Van Dyke Show, and straight man to Mel Brooks' 2,000-year-old man, has died. He was 98. Reiner's assistant Judy Nagy said he died Monday night of natural causes at his home in Beverly Hills. He was one of show business's best liked men. The tall, bald Reiner was a welcome face on the small and silver screens. In Caesar's 1950 trope as the gnarling, toupee-wearing Alan Brady of the Dick Van Dyke Show, and in such films as The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, and It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World. In recent years, he was part of the roguish gang in the Ocean's 11 movie starring George Clooney and appeared in documentaries including Broadway Beyond the Golden Age and If You're Not in the Obit, Eat Breakfast. Tributes poured in, with Dick Van Dyke calling Reiner kind, gentle, compassionate, empathetic, and wise, and Clooney saying he made every room he walked into funnier, smarter, and kinder. I thought Dick Van Dyke died. I could even be putting in tributes when he died like last year. Maybe he died. I thought he did. Betty White described herself as privileged to work with Reiner and heartbroken. Steve Martin said goodbye to my greatest mentor in movies and in life. Thank you, dear Carl, Billy Christie said. All of us in comedy have lost a giant. Sarah Silverman said his humanity was beyond compare. Reiner directed such films as Oh God, starring George Burns and John Denver. All of Me with Martin and Lily Tomlin, and 1970s comedy Where's Papa? His books include Interlaughing, an autobiographical novel later adapted into a film and Broadway show. And missing a page. Apparently I'm missing a page, huh? Oh, page 5, not 3. And Anecdotal Life, a memoir published in 2003. He recounted his childhood and creative journey in a 2013 book, I Remember Me. But many remember Reiner for the Dick Van Dyke Show, one of the most popular TV shows of all time, and a model of ensemble playing, physical comedy, and timeless good-natured wit. It starred Dick Van Dyke as a television comedy writer, working for a demanding, eccentric boss, Reiner, and living with his wife, Mary Tyler Moore, in the first major TV role. Remember the Dick Van Dyke Show? How about the Mary Tyler Moore Show? That was a pretty good show. All right, so let's look at some social justice. Let's see what we got here. It says Belgium takes down a bust of King Leopold. You know what a bust is, right? It's like the head down to here. So if I become some famous person and I change the world, they'll make a bust of me that was made of granite or whatever. And it would be my face all the way down to about right here. It's a bust. And it'd be a plaque saying, Diallo July, the greatest man ever to live. All right, so Belgium confronted its colonial past and looked toward Reconciliation Tuesday with the king expressing regret for the violence carried out by the country when it ruled over what is now Congo. So you guys know about that? So the Dutch, which are the Belgium, they went into Africa, especially Congo, and they ruled over Congo. because Congo had diamonds, lots and lots of diamonds. So they went in there and they basically exploited all the natives that lived there by basically putting them into slavery. Yes. And at one point, the Congo area it looked like it did here. It was no different because everything, they had infrastructure, roads, schools, trains, everything. But it was only for certain people. The Belgian people and very well-to-do Congolese. Okay? As Belgium marked the 60th anniversary, so later in the day, the bust of a former monarch held responsible for the death of millions of Africans was taken off public display. As Belgium marked the 60th anniversary of the end of colonial rule in Congo, King Philippe's words in resounding significance since none of his predecessors went so far as to convey remorse. In a letter to Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi, Philippe stopped short of issuing a formal apology, but proclaimed his deepest regrets for the acts of violence and cruelty and the suffering and humiliation inflicted on Belgian Congo. The removal of King Leopold II's statue took place only hours after Philippe's letter was published. The monarch who ruled Belgium from 1865 to 1909 plundered Congo as if it were his personal fiefdom, forcing many of its people into slavery to extract the resources for his own profit. So like I said, it was brutal. Slavery, beatings, killings, all that stuff, just so they could extract all the resources. And now Congo, ever since the Dutch left, Congo's been in a civil war. So for the past 60 years, Congo's been in a civil war. Or just Congolese killing other Congolese. Because during that time, the Belgians, so there's different tribes in the Congo. Like many places in Africa, there's different tribes. So the Congolese decided that one tribe was better than the other. So one tribe, they put up on the pedestal saying, you're the better tribe, while the other tribe did all the slave work. So then when the Belgians left, what do you think happened? The so-called lower tribe came and was at war with the bigger tribe. Same thing happened in Rwanda between the Hutsis and the Tutsis. Same thing. Dutch came in there because Rwanda and the Congo, they're next to each other. So the Dutch came in there and did the same thing. They said the minority group, who was, I want to say the Hutsis, the Tutsis were the majority, but they were the slaves. The Hutsis were the minority. So the majority was the slaves. The minorities were the group, the tribe that was basically walking alongside the Dutch. And the Dutch said that the Tutsis were basically a bunch of monkeys. And when the Dutch left, what happened to Rwanda? Huge civil war where literally had families slaughtered. I mean, like machetes while going into houses and just killing everybody in the house. It was bad. There's a great movie called Hotel Rwanda, which is about that. All right. So we will do one more story. And it'll be a better story. It'll be a sports story. All right. All right, so our last story is about Netflix. So if you know what Netflix is, you can turn on TV and you can click on a little icon called Netflix. And when it comes up, you can pick movies, TV shows, and such to watch. You can get it on that, yeah. But it's got movies and TV. Some of you may have seen it with your family or things like that. They put little movies on there. Well, Netflix, in the last couple of days, they've moved. Netflix moves $100 million to bolster black banks. So Netflix decided to basically take 2% of their profits and invest it into Black-owned banks. Because Black-owned banks, well, I'll read the article. It says Netflix said Tuesday that it would move up to 100 million or 2% of its cash holdings to financial institutions that focus on Black communities. It is intended to address a long-standing problem that these communities face, a lack of capital for the banks and other lenders that service them. In June, the streaming company chief executive Reed Hastings pledged $120 million to support scholarships at historically Black colleges and universities. The move on Tuesday by the company he runs aims to fight racial inequality, not through charity, but via a routine commercial aspect of its business. As the company's considerable cash pile grows, so might its deposits. Netflix will start with 35 million, split two ways. 25 million in financing for a new fund, the Black Economic Development Initiative, that will itself invest in Black financial institutions, and depositing 10 million with the Hope Credit Union. These institutions join the roughly 30 banks worldwide that Netflix uses to hold its cash. The big banks, where Netflix and other multinational companies keep their money, are not able to operate at the grassroots level these Black-led institutions can and do. Netflix said in a statement, so we wanted to redirect some of our cash specifically toward these communities and hope to inspire other large companies to do the same with these cash deposits. The idea was hatched in April during a discussion about improving diversity within Netflix leadership ranks, according to company executives and others involved in the process. Aaron Mitchell, a member of Netflix recruiting team, took the lead in developing the idea of bolstering Black-owned and Black-run banks. After encouragement from Hastings and Spencer Newman, Netflix chief financial officer, Mitchell, who joked in an interview that he had no business devising ways the company should manage its money, worked with Shannon Allowin of the company's treasury division to put the plans into action. The project took on greater urgency following month after the killing of George Floyd, while in custody of Minneapolis police officers, which set off weeks of nationwide protests against systematic racism and public brutality, of police brutality. Mitchell said that he drew on the book, The Color of Money, Black Banks and the Racial Wealth Gap by Mirsa Baradaran, a professor at the University of California, Irvine's Law School. Baradaran argues that Black-focused lenders are undercapitalized, depriving these communities of economic opportunities. You need capital to build more capital, she said in an interview. Hope Credit Union, which is based in Jackson, Mississippi, reported just over $300 million in assets at the end of last year. The money from Netflix will have a tremendous impact in Black communities, Hope Chief Executive Bill Bynum said in an interview. Pound for pound, no entity has a bigger impact than community lender, he said. The community lender, he said, pointing to a greater ability to lend to small businesses and aspiring homeowners. Lack of capital at banks serving rural and minority communities is a concern among regulators as well. The Federal Reserve's chairman, Jerome Powell, deplored financial deserts in America at a forum hosted last year by Hope. Putting money where it matters is both good business and good for the economy, Bynum said. Bynum and Baradaran said that more work remains to make a meaningful difference addressing racial economic inequality. The combined assets of Black-owned banks in the U.S., Baradaran said, amount to a bad week for JP Morgan Chase's revenue-wise. That's a good story, huh? If you invested in gold, it's at $1,800 an ounce. Ooh, that's pretty good, huh? Well, if you own it, if you already got gold, then you're doing good. It's up $19 so far, and silver's up 57 cents, and it's at $18.64 an ounce. Crude oil is at $39 an ounce, or $39 a barrel. Sorry. Not bad. All right. Again, thank you for joining me today. My name is Diallo, and this was Wednesday, July 1st for current events. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time.
Ole.
Ole. Nope. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diallo, and today is going to be our morning workout. Thank you for joining me today. It's a beautiful day for a workout. So, everybody at home, today we're going to be using some different type of workout materials. Okay? Here, we have what you call water weights, or they can be dumbbells, preferably in the 1 to 3 pound range, even 5 pounds. Okay, so you at home, if you have these, or even bottles of water work. So little bottles of Alhambra water, those work as well too. Okay, those are about 1 pound, 2 pounds. That makes sense. Or we're going to use stretchy bands. Okay, or we're going to use stretchy bands as well. All right, so we're going to do exercises that can incorporate both of those. Okay. So first, we're going to make sure that we get loose and stretched out. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do neck rotations. Okay? So first, we're going to move our neck around in a circle. Make sure we get the neck nice and stretched out. Good. Back the other way. Excellent. And stop. Ooh, got a little dizzy there, huh? All right. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put our right arm up and we're going to stretch it over ourselves. There we go. So we stretch out our arms, our side, our abs, everything. Good. Up over our head. Over our head. There you go. And down. Switch the other arm. Up over your head and over yourself. There you go. Good. Feel the stretch all along your side here. Up in your arms. Perfect. Back down to the middle. Okay, now what we're going to do, if you do have handles on your chair, what I want you to do is I want you to turn and grab the side of your chair. So both hands on one side of the chair, and we're going to pull ourselves. Pull. We're going to stretch out our side and our back. There we go. So again, both hands on one side of the chair, and we're going to pull. There you go. Now we're going to take both hands and move them to the other side. Bring them down on the chair. So grab the chair, and we're going to pull again. Pull, pull, pull. Perfect. Pull, pull, pull. Try to look behind you. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to get our butts to the edge of our seat. Spread our knees. Okay, and we are going to stretch down and touch our fingers to the ground. Down, fingers to the ground. There you go. You can feel the stretch in your hamstrings, in your groin, in your lower back, and back up. And down again. Feel that stretch. Feel it. There you go. Again, your lower back, your hamstrings, your groin. Perfect. And back up. Good. Now Now from this position, we're gonna have our knees in front of us. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lift one knee up, we're gonna grab it, and we're gonna pull it into our stomach and chest. Pull it up. There you go. Pull it up. Pull it up. Good. You can feel that in your buttocks.
Oh, well.
And then down. Switch, go to the other leg now, other knee. Lift that other knee up. Grab it and pull it up. Pull it up.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent. Excellent. Now we're going to get back in our chairs again. Okay. We're going to put one leg straight out. And we're going to rotate that ankle. Rotate that ankle. Perfect. Excellent. Magnissimo. Magnificent. And down. Switch the other leg. And rotate that ankle. Oh, that feels good. You know what I did yesterday?
What?
I helped my stepdad jackhammer a sidewalk. About 10 feet of sidewalk. We got a jackhammer. And went,
Oh, yeah, they said, was it fun?
it actually was. It was hard work.
They said,
I thought I was going to wake up sore today, but I'm actually not. It felt like I had been in the gym and was bench pressing like 300 pounds over for about half an hour straight. That's what it felt like when I was done. Because I couldn't feel my forearms, my biceps, or my chest. It's hard work. Jackhammer's hard work. Anybody here ever use a jackhammer? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard work. All right. So now what we're going to do is, if you have either your water bottles or water weights, we're going to pick those up. Now, if you don't have those, what you're going to pick up is you're going to grab your stretchy bands here. Now, for everybody who has stretchy bands, what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to get to the edge of our seats. We're going to take those stretchy bands and we're going to put it under both feet. Okay, so we're holding it under both feet, just like so. It's behind you. There it is. Gonna put it under both feet. This is with the stretchy bands, okay? Now everybody with the stretchy bands, hold it just like this. Now, for everybody with the water weights or dumbbells, Jose, we're gonna hold those dumbbells just like this. And for everybody with the bands, you're going to do exactly what I'm doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here, and we're going to lift up and down. Do bicep curls. Good. And up and down. Good. Up and down. So again, if you have those, the bands, you're going to do the bands just like that. Up and down. That's 3. Up and down. That's 4. Up and down, that's 5. Up and down, that's 6. Up and down, that's 7. Make sure you keep your back straight. Down, that's 8. Up and down, that's 9. One more. Up and down, that's 10. Perfect. Now, if you're using your stretchy bands, you're going to take one foot off of those bands. So you're going to have only one foot on the bands, okay? And again, I'm holding the weights and the band so you can show everybody how to do this. Our next exercise, we're going to do butterflies. Okay? So we're going to have our arms to the side here. And what we're going to do is we're going to, again, it's easier if you get your butt on the edge of your seat. So you have more room to get your arms on the side here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to lift up, straight out, and down. Good. So do the dumbbells, do the same thing. Up and down, that's 2. Up and down, that's 3. Going straight out like a cross. Up and down, that's 4. Up, down, that's 5. Up and down, that's 6. Up and down, that's 7. Up and down, that's 8, up, and down, that's 9, up, and down, that's 10. Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these. I'm going to switch these with you. There you go. This one's easier. There you go. Perfect. Now from there, we're going to go back to bicep curls. Okay, so again, putting both feet on the stretchy bands, okay? Again, bicep curls, we're just going to go just like that. And up, make sure you keep your elbows steady, and up, and down, that's 2. Up, and down, that's 3. Up, good. Down, that's 4. Up, and down, that's 5. Good. Up, and down, that's 6. Up, and down, that's 7. And up, and down, that's 8. And up, and down, that's 9. One more. Up, and down, that's 10. Perfect. Whew. Now you can feel that. Now again, for those of you who have bands, 1 foot only. Stepping on the band, just 1 foot. Okay? And if you do have bands, if you hold them at the very edges, it makes it a little bit easier. So hold them at the ends, it makes it easier. And what we're going to do is butterflies again. Okay? So again, butterflies, your hands are going to be out to the side, and we're going to come straight up and down. That's 1. And up and down, that's 2. Up and down, that's 3. Up and down, that's 4. Up and down, that's 5. Up and down, that's 6. And again, you can use water bottles as well. Up and down, that's 8. Up and down, that's 9. And up and down, that's 10. I think I skipped some numbers. That's okay. All right, excellent. How's that feel? Should start to feel a little burn. That's good. That means you're working something. That means you're working your muscles. Okay, you got your muscles working.
Muscles.
Muscles. Muscles got a C in there. I don't know why it's got a C. It should be muscles.
Muscles.
Yeah, muscles. It's like the word Tucson, Arizona. Spelled T-U-S-C-O-N, Tucson. It should be Tucson, T-U-C-S-O-N, Tucson. It should be Tucson. All right, Tucson, Arizona. All right.
Olay.
So now what we're going to do, we're going to put down the bands. We're going to go for a lower body exercise.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit back in our chair, and we're going to go roll our feet from our heel to our toes. So again, that's going to look like this. We're going to go roll, heels, and then up to the toes. Okay? Heels and toes, that's 2. Heels and toes, that's 3. Heels and toes, that's 4. Heels and toes, that's 5. Heels and toes, that's 6. Heels and toes, that's 7. Heels and toes, that's 8. And heels and toes, that's 9. And heels and toes, that's 10. Good. Feel that in your calves. These are basically calf raises you're doing sitting down.
Boom.
Boom, bada boom.
Boom.
All right, now we're going to go with our second set. Okay. What we're going to do is, again, we're going to go heels and toes. Good. Heels and toes. Heels and toes, that's 3. Heels and toes, that's 4. And heels and toes, that's 5. And heels and toes, that's 6. And heels and toes, that's 7. And heels and toes, that's 8. And heels and toes, that's 9. One more, heels, toes, that's 10. Perfect. Feels good, doesn't it? All right. So our next exercise, we're going to do flutter kicks with our legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to put both legs out, like so, and we're just going to flutter them, okay? Just like this. I'm going to count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop them. Perfect. Now in between there, we're going to do crisscrosses. Now what that's going to consist of is we're going to lift our feet straight up, and we are literally going to cross them, and then open and cross them the other way, and cross, just like that, okay? Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that uses a whole different set of muscles in your legs. You can feel that. All right. Now going back to our flutter kicks. Okay. So again, leg straight up and flutter. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and drop. Excelente.
Ole.
Ole, 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 ole. You ever do a soccer match? All day. All right. And now we're going back to crisscrosses. So once again, our legs are going to come up, and we're going to crisscross and switch it up. Criss, cross, criss and cross. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. How's everybody feeling? Everybody feeling good?
Ole.
Ole it up. All right. So now we're going to work back to our upper body again. Okay. Now this one, you can either use weights or you do not have to use weights. If you feel comfortable using weights, you can do that. So at home, if you have water bottles, those work as well. So you grab some water bottles, like I said, or if you have little 1 pound to 3 pound weights, those work as well. Okay. There you go. But if you don't want to use weights, that's fine. You don't have to. Okay. What we're going to do is get our arms up, and we're going to go up and down. That's 1. Up and down. That's 2. Up and down. That's 3. Up, down. That's 4. Up, down. That's 5. Up, down. That's 6. Up, down. That's 7. Up, down. That's 8. Up, down. That's 9, and up and down. That's 10. Perfect. That is perfect. That is just me doing this. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix in there is we're actually going to do that. So if you have water weights, or you can just do it without them, what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands out, one hand at a time. We're going to make a fist, and we're just going to roll our hand back and forth. So you have weights, you can do that, and roll back and forth just like that. 10, 9, 8, 7. Make sure our arm is straight. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. You can feel that in your forearms. Again, if the weight is too heavy, you can do it without the weight, okay? So again, we're going to switch arms, put our other arm out, and we're going to rotate all the way. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. And what that exercise does, it not only works our forearms, but it also works our shoulders. Okay? Now we're going to go back to push-ups. So arms out, up, and we're going to go up and down. That's 1. Up and down. That's 2. Up, down. That's 3. Up, down. That's 4. Up, down, that's 5, up, down, that's 6, up, down, that's 7, up, down, that's 8, up, down, that's 9, and up, and down, that's 10. Great job. You can put our weight down. Excellent. Whew. You feel pretty good, huh? Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on our endurance exercises, which is boxing. Okay? So again, we're going to pretend like we're Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. Okay? So put our dukes up. And what we're going to do, make sure our back is straight. Sitting up on our chairs. And we're going to punch. 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 My pace. Punch. 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 Good. Punch. 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 You say that word enough, it doesn't mean anything. Punch. Punch. Lose its meaning. Punch. 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 I'm going to switch it up. Jab. 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 Jab, 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 jab. Fast you can, come on, fast you can, keep going, stop. We're gonna do that next. Okay. So we're gonna factor in an uppercut next, okay? So you know how that goes? We're getting them up, and we're gonna punch. Punch, uppercut. Punch, punch, uppercut. Punch, punch, uppercut. Good. Punch, punch, uppercut. 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 Keep going. Punch, punch, uppercut. 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 There you go. Woo. Got him, huh?
Are you okay, Arms?
It feels good, doesn't it? It feels good, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Like it, Jose?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
So next, we're going to do something we haven't done in a while.
Uh-oh.
Okay? We are going to do a speed bag exercise. So we're going to pretend like there's a bag of water, rocks, sand, doesn't matter. It's up above our heads right here. Okay? We're going to take our hands just like this, and we're going to circle them, rotate them, and just hit that bag. Nice and easy. Hit that bag. Going forward, hit that bag. Going forward and hitting that bag on my pace. Okay? Go a little bit faster. A little faster. A little faster. And fast you can. And stop. Woo. Good. Now we're going to go with our cool down stretch. Cool down. Okay, so our first cool down stretch. We're going to take our fingertips. We're going to interlock them, interlace them together. We're going to turn our palms up to the ceiling and up as far as you can go. Up as far as you can go. There you go. Good. And now from here, We're going to rotate over to our right. There you go. We're going to stretch it out. Then we're going to rotate over to our left and stretch it out. There you go. And to the middle and down. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to come to the edge of our seats again. Get our knees spread apart. Okay, we're going to reach down. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to take our elbows into our knees. We're going to push our knees apart with our elbows. So get the elbows on the inside part of your knees, and we're going to push our knees apart. Push those knees apart with our elbows. There you go.
Yeah.
Good. Got to make sure you open up the legs. Open them up wide. See how wide my feet are? Got to get your feet nice and wide so you can get your elbows inside your knees and push them apart. Now we're going to touch the ground. And back up. Good. Now we're going to put our left leg forward on the ground with our heel up. And we're going to reach down and touch your toes, as I almost fell out of the chair. And touch our toes. Try and touch your toes. I almost fell out of the chair. All right. And back up. Now we're going to switch legs. Right leg's going to come forward with our heel up. And again, we're going to reach down and try and touch your toes. And perfect, back up. Excellent. Okay, sit back on our chairs. And now we're going to do our spread eagle stretch, which will be our last one. So we're going to reach up and reach back. And legs up. And stretch it out. Oh,
Hey, caramba.
And we are done.
Well,
Thank you, everybody, for joining me today for our daily stretch.
thank you.
Again, my name is Diallo, and I will see you next time.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Uh-oh, they rolled in there.
Just coming back.
It's okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll start here in just a second, okay? Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diallo, and for today's activity, we are going to be doing jokes, trivia, and riddles. Sound good? I want to make you laugh, make your belly ache, make your stomach hurt in a good way.
I had to run.
Exactly.
Where's the toilet?
All right. So our first joke is going to be called The Internet. What's that? Okay. Says, come on, Ma. You've got to try it. I pleaded to my elderly mother. I don't know how my mother lasted this long without using the internet. But enough was enough, I thought. Okay, she said reluctantly, settling down by the computer and slowly putting on her reading glasses. What do I do now? Now I'm going to open up the homepage. Now I'm going to open the homepage of Google, I explained. Okay, here it is. Now type any question you want into the bar over here and you'll find an answer to your question, I confidently assured her. My mother looked at me warily, thought for a second, and slowly began to type. How was Gertrude doing this morning? That's not a very funny one at all.
What is the meaning of that?
Gertrude. All right, next one is called an aging joke. One day, while strolling down the boardwalk, John bumped into an old friend of his, Rob, from high school. You look great, John. How do you stay looking so young? Why, you must be 60 already, but you don't look a day over 40, Rob said. I feel like I'm 42, replied John. That's incredible, exclaimed Rob. Does it run the family? How old was your dad when he passed? Did I say he was dead? Asked John. He's 81 and is more active than ever. He just joined the neighborhood basketball team, responded John. Woo, whoa, oh, wow. Well, how old was your grandfather when he died? Did I say he died? Asked John. Rob was amazed. He just had his 105th birthday and plays golf and goes swimming each day. He's actually getting married this week.
Oh my God.
Getting married, Rob asked. If he's 105, why on earth does he want to get married? John looked at Rob and replied, Did I say he wanted to?
Uh-oh. You got her pregnant. That's disgusting.
All right, here's another. It's called Too Old to Date. You know what that means? Like you're too old to go on a date, too old to date men, women. Okay. The neighbors thought it was odd, but 93-year-old Morton was dating again. One morning, Morton woke up with a funny feeling that something important happened last night. It was during breakfast that Morton finally remembered what it was. He had proposed to his date, Greta. But what she answered, he just couldn't seem to remember. Morton picked up the phone and dialed. Hey, Greta, said Morton. I have a funny question for you. Do you remember last night when I proposed? Oh my gosh, Greta said. I'm so glad you called. I knew I said yes to somebody, but I just couldn't recall who it was. All right, it's called the peanut joke. Thinking that the presidential candidate needed to show a human side of himself, his committee advised him to visit an old age home. Walking into the room of an old man with the camera's wiring, the nominee was surprised when the old man offered him some peanuts from the bowl on the table. Thank you, said the nominee after being offered more for the third time. Why don't you have one yourself? Oh, I can't eat that, said the old man. I don't have any teeth. So why do you have them? Asked the confused nominee. Oh, I like the chocolate around them. Okay.
Oh, shit.
That's gross, huh? That's gross. All right. So now we're going to go for some fairy tale rhymes. Okay, so let's see if you know the answer to this. Who did Jack find at the top of the beanstalk?
Yeah.
Who did Jack find at the top of the beanstalk? A giant. Because when Jack crawled up the beanstalk, there was a land of giants. How many different types of beans can you name? Beans that you eat. Let's try.
Lima beans.
There's one.
3 or 4.
Pinto beans,
Mhm.
green beans,
Black beans.
black beans. What else? That's about all I know too. Not even gonna lie. That's about all I know.
What other kinds of beans?
Mm-hmm. That's all I know. Okay. Now, does the captain of a submarine look through a telescope or a periscope?
Periscope.
You sure? That's right, it's a periscope. Which means to wear away slowly, erode or explode?
Probably.
Yes, erode. Was Christopher Columbus born in Portugal, Italy, or Spain?
Italy.
You are correct. It was then called the Independent Republic of Genoa, which is Genoa, Italy. Asia is the largest continent. What continent is the second largest? So there's 7 continents on Earth. Asia is the largest. What's the next largest?
South America.
So what are some continents? You have Asia, you have Africa, you have Australia, North America, South America, Antarctica, and
Well, maybe Antarctica.
Africa is the second largest.
Africa.
Yes.
Olay.
And you have Europe as a continent. All right. What ocean forms the eastern edge of the United States?
Atlantic.
That's correct. What ocean forms the Pacific half of the United States?
What ocean?
What ocean forms the western edge of the United States?
Pacific Ocean.
That's correct.
You said it before.
Yep.
I was confused.
How much of a foot is 6 inches?
Or half.
That's correct. You're just gobbling them up today.
No. Oh, shut up.
What kind of simple machine is a crowbar? Is it a lever or an inclined plane?
Lever.
That's correct. Why is it a lever? Why is a crowbar a lever?
Because that's how you use it.
Where you can put it under something and lever it up.
Yes.
That's correct. Do plants turn towards the sun or away from the sun?
Towards.
Towards. That is correct. When the English captured New Amsterdam, what did they give the city? What name did they give the city of New Amsterdam? So New Amsterdam was
New England?
close. New York.
New York.
Yes, when the English came here, because who owned New Amsterdam before? The Dutch. The Dutch were in New York first. And then when the English came, they renamed it New York because York is a city and a county in England. So they named it New York. Which state is larger, Texas or Alaska?
Alaska.
I didn't even finish the sentence. And you knew it. Jeez. That's good, though. Let's see. Is Florida an island, a peninsula, or an isthmus?
Peninsula.
That is correct. I don't even know what an isthmus is. Isthmus. I don't even know what that
You can't
is.
even say it. Isthmus.
I know. Isthmus.
Isthmus.
Isthmus. Let's see. Did the Pilgrims arrive at Plymouth Rock in 1620, 1776, or 1812?
What was the first one?
Did the Pilgrims arrive at Plymouth Rock in 1620, 1776, or 1812? Those are all famous dates in American history. 1620. What was 1776? The Declaration of Independence.
Oh, hey.
What was 1812? The War of 1812.
Which one?
The French, I believe. Okay. Which port lies between Puget Sound and Lake Washington? So it's in Washington State. There's a port between Puget Sound and Washington. Seattle. That's a tough one. That's a very tough one. Who became U.S. Vice President when Spiro Agnew resigned?
Mickey Mouse.
So Spiro Agnew was a vice president for a president who got impeached, Nixon. So when Nixon resigned, or when Agnew resigned, who took over as vice president for Nixon? Who then Nixon resigned, and that person became president. And that president now builds houses for Habitat for Humanity. Gerald Ford. That was a tough one. Let's see. Which device uses a telephone or a cable line to connect a computer to the internet? Wait, which device uses a telephone or a cable line to connect to the internet? That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. What African American helped to plan the city of Washington, D.C.? That's a tough one. I didn't know this one. Again, which African American helped plan the city of Washington, D.C.? That's a tough one. Benjamin Banneker. I didn't know that. That one's a new one for me. In which sport is Michael Jordan associated with? Basketball. Bingo. Churchill, Sherman, and Panzer were all developed as types of what? So the most well-known to be Sherman and Panzer. What types of vehicles are those? They're war vehicles, vehicles of war. So you have the Sherman
tank.
Bingo, Sherman tank. Who recorded the album The Dark Side of the Moon? Pink Floyd. What does the N stand for in NATO? NATO.
National.
North American Trade.
Tree Organization.
There you go. That's perfect. Who famously announced, "Here's Johnny," on the Johnny Carson show from the early 1960s? Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon.
Yes, Ed McMahon. Who sang the theme song from the 1970s movie Love Story? The 1970s movie Love Story, who sang the theme music? Andy Williams. No, he is? He's an old country music star from the early days of country music. He grew up dirt poor, and he's a white guy. He grew up with a lot of African Americans, and his style came from the early African American blues, which turned into country music. Mm-hmm. And he died at a very young age. He died in his 30s.
Wow.
From lots and lots of drinking and partying.
Ole.
Ole. Which sitcom about an army hospital in Korea was transmitted in the UK without the canned laughter of the US version? So what sitcom about an army hospital in Korea? What sitcom is that?
It's there, but I can't.
It's called MASH.
MASH.
MASH. There you go. That's a great show. Which Sinatra song manages to rhyme a line with Shy Way? I want it
My way.
my way. There you go, Frank. My way.
That's all he wanted.
What was Aretha Franklin's '1 hit song? Or her first '1 hit song? R-E-S-P-E-C-T. What's that song called? Respect. Let's see. In football, where do the Broncos come from? In football, where do the Broncos come from?
New York.
No, they come from the Mile High City. In Colorado, Denver. Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos.
Is sperm produced by males or females? You sure? It's males.
It depends.
It depends. What country is famous for curry? Curry like you eat.
Spain?
What country is famous for curry? India.
Oh, India.
Yeah, India.
Ole.
Was Louis Armstrong a jazz musician or a Baptist minister? Yes, Louis Armstrong was a he was a jazz musician.
A Baptist jazz musician.
Yes. Which fictional bear thought he had a very little brain?
Yogi.
No. Yogi Bear thought he wasn't your average bear. Which bear thought he had a very little brain? Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh.
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. Let's go with some American history questions. How about that? American history questions. In Irish folklore, is a leprechaun a little man or a little woman? Little man. And what's he wear? A little hat. Okay, and if you see it, and if you see a rainbow, what's at the end of the rainbow? There you go. And what do leprechauns like? Pots of gold.
Oh, Olay. I like that too.
Let's see. What's the common way to say thank you in Spanish? That is true. Gracias. Name the largest freshwater lake in the world. It's in America. It's one of the Great Lakes. Lake Superior. Yeah. Where would you find the Sea of Tranquility?
On the moon.
That is correct. The moon. Which is the only American state to begin with the letter P? The only American state to begin with the letter P. State.
State.
State. Okay. Philadelphia is in that state.
Pennsylvania.
That is correct. Pennsylvania. You were born in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Nice.
Olay.
What is the world's largest river?
Superior.
River.
A river.
What is the world's largest river? It's in South America.
Amazon.
That is correct. The Amazon. Name the actor who starred in 142 movies, including The Quiet Man, The Shootist, The Searchers, and Stagecoach. And he also has an airport named after him in Orange County. John
Wayne.
John Wayne. Yes. Let's see what else we got. What color jersey is worn by the winners of each stage of the Tour de France? So if you win a stage, you get to start the next stage with what? It's called a yellow jacket. It's called a yellow jacket.
It's a fly.
Name the three primary colors.
Red, blue, and yellow.
Yes, you are correct. What is the painting La Gioconda more usually known as? La Gioconda. It was done by Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, woman.
The picture, it's about this
It's
big.
a woman, yeah.
Yeah, it's about this big. It's in the Louvre Museum. It's really small, actually. If you've ever been there, it's actually really small.
Um,
It's a woman that's not really smiling.
she's got gas.
The
Mona Lisa.
The Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
Yes.
It's that small, huh?
Yeah, it's really small.
I didn't know.
It's like 8 by 10. It's really small. You would think it was huge, but it's
I
not.
didn't know.
Yeah, it's only 8 by 10.
That's a song. I don't get around.
How many valves does a trumpet have?
4,
Close.
5.
Yes. No, 3. Sorry, 3. Who painted How Sir Galahad, Sir Bors, Sir Percival, where Fred was Sac Griel, but Sir Percival's sister died by the way? Dante Gabriel Rossetti. That was a tough one.
That was hard.
If you were painting with tempera, what would you be using to bind together color pigments? Like if you were eating tempura, egg yolk. You ever used egg yolk to paint?
No,
You can bind the colors with them apparently.
have to try that. It doesn't turn out I can eat it. A little ways to go.
A couple more. These are hard questions. Let's see here. If you drop a lobster into boiling water, what color will it turn?
Me.
Red.
Red.
So you get red lobsters. Yeah. Is the country of Egypt in Africa or Asia? That is correct. Let's see. What is the official nickname of Texas?
Texas is nickname?
Yeah, it's called the Blank Star State.
Lone Star.
The Lone Star State. There you go.
Why is that?
I don't know. Who was the wife of Barack Obama?
Michelle.
Michelle Obama. That's correct. Which state is known as the Empire State? Because it has the Empire State Building. Yeah, the city that has the state and the city that has the Empire State Building in it.
New York.
There you go, New York. Name the largest dam in the world. Name the largest dam in the world.
That guy down the street.
Hoover?
The Three Gorges Dam. Huh.
The Three Gorges.
Mhm.
I don't know that. I didn't know about that either.
I thought it was the Hoover Dam, but I was wrong.
You said Three Gorges?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know about that.
I forgot what country it's in.
I have to find that out because I don't never even heard of it.
I know. Stars and Stripes is the nickname of the flag of which country?
Us.
The American flag is correct. What is the tallest mammal in the world? The tallest mammal. That's correct, giraffe. What city does the cartoon family, the Simpsons, live in? In which city do the cartoon family, the Simpsons, live in? Springfield. Yeah, Springfield. Who invented the light bulb? That's correct, Thomas Edison. All right, couple more. What does WHO stand for? What does WHO, as in WHO, what
World
does,
Health Organization.
that is correct.
What is that?
World Health Organization. What two colors are traditionally linked to the Halloween festival?
Orange and black.
Orange and black,
But black is not a color.
but it's a color for Halloween. Black is not a color?
Black is not a color.
Why not?
It's like white is all colors because you spin them on the wheel and they all turn white.
Really?
And black is the absence of color.
I knew black was absent color, but I still thought it was a color.
No,
Maybe in human comprehension.
no, it doesn't.
So if you put all the colors together and you spin them on a wheel and they all go to one side, it all turns white?
Yes.
I didn't know that. See, learn something new every day.
Yes.
Did not know that.
You
What does,
retired from the school system.
in Britain, they have a television station called the BBC. What does the BBC stand
British
for?
Broadcasting Company.
Yes. You are correct.
What was it?
British Broadcasting Company, BBC. How many, after how many years are the Olympics held? They're held every 4 years. Who was known as the King of Comedy? His name was Charlie. Jose with the win. Charlie Chaplin.
Jose.
That is awesome. All right, so cut one more good one, all right?
Okay, teacher.
Which U.S. presidents came first? George W. Bush or George H.W. Bush? So which one of those Bushes was president first? George W. Bush or George H.W. Bush?
President what?
United States.
George W. Bush.
Close. George H.W., who was the father of George H.W. Bush.
I don't think I like you.
They both went to war in Iraq, huh?
I don't like him.
All right, one more good one. Let's see here. Which protects freedom of speech? The First, Third, or Fifth Amendment?
Say that again. First Amendment.
Yes, the question again was which protects freedom of speech? The First Amendment, the Third Amendment, or the Fifth Amendment? Mm-hmm. A twisting windstorm shaped like a funnel is a hurricane or a tornado. Bingo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Diallo. Thank you for joining me today for trivia and jokes.
Thank you, teacher.
Hope you enjoyed it. Learned something new today. I sure did.
What?
About the Mona Lisa, about the color black and white, about the Dutch colonization, about a lot of things.
Olay.
Ole! Thank you for joining us. I will see you next time.
Okay. So we ready to go?
Mm-hmm.